In this video, I'm going to talk about how to manage your YouTube channel as a tech product. Modern tech companies have developed different ways of working, which are quite different from the traditional ones that help them build those products that we all love. Think about, for example, Uber, Facebook, Google, YouTube, and many other examples out there. And one of their main focus and goals has been to learn who are they serving, what are their problems, and how can they serve these people in a better way. So they are very heavily focused on developing products that their users love. Hey, if you are new to the channel, my name is Juan and I am a product director at a tech company in Finland. So one of the things that is going to be very important is understanding and defining what problem are you solving and how you are solving it. And also have a very good plan on how you are going to be moving forward in the future. And I don't want to be theoretical about this topic. I want to also show you how am I doing this in Notion. So let's jump into Notion and let's see how I'm managing this YouTube channel as a tech company would manage its products. This video is not sponsored by Notion. It is sponsored by the like button if you happen to like it. So let's jump into Notion. And what I've done here in Notion is that I just structure one page where I have all the different key points that I think that I'm going to have to pay attention to in order to define and plan how the product is going to work. And by the product, again, I mean this YouTube channel. So first things first, the first thing that you always have to make sure that you define is what is the problem that you are here helping to solve from the viewers. This can be a real problem or it can be a need that you see in the audience out there. How I define the problem for me is that it's not easy to plan products, especially tech products, and people might want to know how tech companies out there work and how they are so successful at what they are doing. Next, I have defined what is going to be the solution that I'm bringing to those viewers. In this case, you can see that the solution that I'm bringing is that I'm creating videos around how to plan products. And also, as well, I talk a lot about how tech companies work nowadays. As well, I'm going to document all this journey on how I'm planning this product and make it publicly available in these Notion pages. So basically, I'm building something like a wiki where people can go and see how to plan their own products or their own YouTube channel. Next, I have defined what are the audience and the people that I think that the videos I'm creating is going to bring value to. So first of all, typically it's going to be people that are working planning products in these tech companies. That was my original goal, given my experience in the product management field. How can I help others that are trying to get into different product roles learn how modern companies are doing this kind of work? This can be people that are like product managers, product owners, technical product managers, product designers, and other types. The next one I define are people that want to learn how modern tech companies work. There are many things that tech companies are doing that are getting the attention from other fields. So think about people that are maybe in marketing or any kind of a more, I don't want to call it legacy industry, but industries that are not tech industries as such, that they start to learn that things like Agile are benefiting a lot these modern companies, and how can they learn about these ways of working that potentially can benefit them in the ways that they are working and making them more appealing to the people nowadays. And finally, this is kind of very related to the first one, but it's not necessarily the same audience. I am also thinking that there is a benefit for people that want to learn how to manage different products or services. People that are entrepreneurs that might have their own company, services, consulting, whatever it is, that they want to see how they can manage the products that they're offering, whatever it is, in a better way. So you could say that this audience to a certain degree can overlap with the first one, but in the first one I'm focusing mainly on people who are in tech companies, whereas in the last one, people can be anywhere else. I want to clarify what I'm defining all these different points is that I want to be very critical on what kind of content I'm creating for this video channel. I want to make sure that I'm focusing always in the goals that I set up. So I'm not potentially diverting into other directions which might be very close or nearby to the topics that I'm talking about, but it would take the focus away from the topic that I have for the channel. So once I define the problem, I define the solution, and I define the personas that I'm going to be targeting, then I can start defining what is the vision of the YouTube channel that I'm creating. And the vision for me is to help others learn how modern tech companies build successful products and how can they apply those techniques on their own. One of the inspirations for me to build a YouTube channel was when I was interviewed by a blogger. That opened the eyes for me that when I've been working in product management, pretty much most of the things that I have learned, I have to learn on my own and try to find the information on my own. So what I have been thinking is how can I make it easier for people who are starting to find that information. Next, I'm going to define a strategy for the channel that I'm creating. And the strategy, sometimes people confuse a strategy with vision, sometimes even roadmaps. But a strategy, for example, for this channel, what is going to help me is defining those key cornerstones to focus on. So I know which ones are the areas that I want to make sure that I reinforce all the time that should help me succeed in the vision that I have. The first one that I put here is that I want to help others build successful products, services, or solutions. I know that I've had this in the vision, but I want to reinforce it here, so I stick to my core value and core value proposition of the YouTube channel that I'm building, and I'm not trying to do something else. The second that I want to talk about is about the modern ways of working that tech companies have. How can I talk about these modern ways of working and how people can take advantage of them? The third one is that I want to focus more in edutainment. So how can I make something that is not just educational but also entertaining? Not saying that I'm doing it yet, but that would be one of the strategies that I think that it would be successful for this channel to succeed. The fourth one is that I want to be sure that I focus on anything that is going to be highly scalable over anything that is not going to be scalable. What I mean by this is that I want to focus on things that are going to help me reach out as many people as possible over things that are not going to necessarily help me reaching out that many people. So in a nutshell, I'm focusing on growing the channel. This should be obvious, but I want to reinforce it here. I had to focus also on the user personas that I had defined previously. It's the same as I have talked earlier that I had to also focus on the problem that I had defined or the vision that I had defined. And the last one that I have here is that I'm going to focus on online content only. So things like videos in YouTube or content that I'm going to create within Notion. Next is in a pitch deck for startups, typically you are going to define who is in the team that you're building to drive this company, this product, this service. In my case, this is a YouTube channel who is owned only by me. So the team at this point is me, and when it comes to the strengths that I have, my expertise comes from being initially a software engineer, so I understand software engineering quite well, and also ways of working as software engineer, so tech companies, and also I have been working in product management, planning products for over 10 years now in different positions, and that is something that I understand pretty well. I have been learning a lot on how different companies, modern companies especially, work in this field. And here clearly where my strengths are in all the video editing, potentially presentation, being entertaining in camera and all these things. That's where definitely I have a lot of room to grow. Next, I'm going to define the competitors. Realistically, I haven't defined any competitors yet, but what I'm going to look when talking about competitors are people or YouTube channels out there who are targeting a similar audience that I have. Ideally, I want to have little to no competitors or YouTube channels out there who have relatively similar content, but they don't address exactly the same problems that I'm trying to address or the same audience that I'm trying to address. So try to find a little bit what is my position that it doesn't compete against those channels directly. Competing is not a bad thing. Having channels that are already doing something similar proves that there's an audience for that kind of content. If you try to do something that is completely brand new, it might be that there's no audience or that the audience is very small. Another thing that many times you cover in a pitch deck is what technology are you using. At this point, I don't think I'm going to cover too much technology, or if I do, I might cover what is the ways of working that I'm going to have, but not necessarily the technical ways of implementing the work. So I'm not going to talk if I'm using Premiere Pro or whatever I'm using for editing the product, because probably might not be extremely relevant. But if it's relevant, comment below and I will do so. Next, I'm going to have a section to define what is going to be the go-to-market strategies for this channel to be successful. Again, this is one that realistically I don't have, because when you talk about go-to-market, what you are thinking is more about how to monetize your content, and realistically I'm not even there yet. And finally, I'm going to also be setting some OKRs, so objectives and key results. This is something that is very popular nowadays to be established by tech companies to define how you are making sure that you are going to succeed on what you are trying to achieve. So what you want to define here is an objective, what I want to do, and a key result, in order to achieve that objective. Something I'm not going to put as an OKR is the monetization of this YouTube channel. That would mean that in the moment that I monetize, I wouldn't have a goal, and that's not realistic. More realistic goals of this YouTube channel might be realistic milestones that will take me to the future that I see where this YouTube channel could be going. These ones, I honestly still have to work a little bit more, which ones are other potential key results that I could be doing in the future. So one of the problems that I have had with my YouTube channel is that it realistically has gotten very little traction. I have been doing this for over 1.5 years, and I still have only 700 subscribers, maybe about over 30,000 views at this point. I'm far from being able to even monetize the channel at this point. Until now, I just have been doing this because I think it's an interesting topic. I would like to help people out there. But now I would like to see what happens if I take it more seriously and I try to drive it in a more proper or planned manner. So as I said during the video, I'm going to make these Notion pages published, and I will link them below if somebody's interested in going checking out. I will have them as read-only pages, but I think that in Notion I can allow comments, so you can always go in the comment section and suggest new things that you think that I could be adding there, or information that you think that is missing, or information that you would like to see in the future. I'm not planning that these Notion pages are dead here. I'm going to be talking there about what this YouTube channel is, but I'm also going to be looking into what originally this YouTube channel started being, is how to build successful products, how to work in modern ways in tech companies. So I will also start that section and start building these Notion pages in a kind of a wiki style manner, where I go through the different topics, adding more and more content constantly. And now I concentrate a lot on how to build this pitch deck, but there's other aspects why tech companies are successful, and this is the ways that they work, which are radically different from traditional companies. That doesn't mean that they don't have their own problems. You can see them very often appearing in different articles out there, the problems that this kind of culture sometimes also carries. I talk about strategy, how to be strategic in the ways that you are working. If you want to see a video where I talk about how to make sure that you are building your strategy properly, go and check out this one up here. So if you like this kind of content, if you like this kind of video, if you think that this is a direction that I should continue onwards, please let me know in the comments below. If you like it, also, I would love that you give it a like. It helps a lot the channel, and it helps YouTube to promote this video to other people that might be interested in this topic. I will see you in the next video, and remember, stay safe.